Onur, thank you for joining us. First of all, I noticed that you had a talk titled "Who Wants to Become a Founder of a Blockchain Business Company?" I wonder, is there a simple answer to that question?
There isn't. There can't be a simple answer to the question. Because being a founder itself is complicated enough, but being a founder in this space, I think, comes with certain responsibilities and liabilities that, especially technical founders, when they start out, they don't really anticipate.
But especially today, when we are in the middle of so-called crypto winter, I suppose that many founders who already established their companies, they're thinking, oh, maybe it wasn't such a good idea to become a founder. I wonder, what would you tell to these people? Are there any specific offering solutions from the networks, such as Cosmos, to help these companies and their founders survive the current situation?
So I would ask the founders what their initial intrinsic motivation was on why they started the company in the first place. It was only focused on the monetary aspect, which right now we're in a recession in the winter. I would say fine, like wind down the company. But if you have a motivation that goes beyond that aspect, if you're a true builder, if you believe in building a system that creates some new primitive that is better and superior to what we have right now in the world, I mean, then that question will not be asked, right? You will just continue building. As far as what can we offer as an ecosystem, I mean, there's mainly two things. One is funding and one is knowledge and support. We focus on the knowledge and support, but we do know all the investors in the space. So even if founders are looking for funding to kind of bridge crypto winter, we can at least like give them resources or introduce them to partners who can deploy capital. And ourselves, we can just help them to shape their vision and keep building their products.
I'd just like to ask one thing related to what you said just a minute ago about the type of founders. I wonder which group is dominant. Those who believe that, well, they can make some good money really quick in crypto, or those who are true believers and who really detect the value in crypto?
Definitely the latter, because especially in Cosmos is an ecosystem where you don't have so many VCs like in other ecosystems, and I don't want to like name specific ones, but in other ecosystems, when the money goes away, when the liquidity goes away, you see the projects go away. In Cosmos, there never was money, to be honest with you. It was always kind of a very bootstrapped, bottom-up, community-first project, and only slowly are we seeing traction and more funding and more kind of money coming in, which is why I think definitely the latter. So there's really like true believers in the sovereign app chain thesis who just believe in a world where we will have multiple blockchains that all interoperate with each other.
Right now, I would like to ask you about founders' challenges. I wonder, I can imagine that from the very beginning when we come across a person who wants to establish their company, they already have a long list of pain points at the very beginning of their journey. But I wonder, has that list changed somehow since the bear market broke out? Did you notice anything new on that list?
The change when starting a company is very, very slow. If you're referring kind of to company structures, these things, like changing law in a certain jurisdiction, almost never happens, or it happens very slow. So for example, if you start a company, and you're a technical founder, you need money, right? So you need to fundraise. So you need an entity to fundraise with. But then the investors will ask, okay, like, are we getting equity or are we getting a future token? And you say, yeah, there will be a future token. But you cannot raise money on maybe like a normal Delaware C Corp, potentially, if there's a future token. You need a DevCo, a developing company. You need maybe a non-profit foundation who manages the future network. Maybe you need a token issuer who performs the token issuance in a jurisdiction that is compliant with that law. So it's so complex, and that's basically, I did not see a lot of change in that, to answer your question. This is exactly where we help. Like, we show the models that we see. European teams have different preferences than US teams, have different preferences than teams from Asia. But at least we show them the ecosystem, we show them kind of what is possible. We connect them with legal firms, and at the end of the day, the law firms and the teams have to do the work themselves, but at least we point them into the right direction.
My final question is, I wonder what's your current focus as a network and what's your long-term goals? Have they changed in any way because of the bear market and the current situation?
I mean, for Interchain, I would say nothing changed. There's a couple different focus areas. One of the areas is we're working on something called Interchain security, which will basically enable chains to launch without their own validator set. Although it's a feature to have your own sovereign blockchain and your own validator set, it is also kind of a lot of work to bootstrap that and to talk to all these infrastructure providers. Interchain security will enable you to do that by just using the security of a consumer chain, for example, the hub. So this is, I think, a big focus. We will see liquid staking. This will come next year. Right now, there's 10 billion in assets in IBC connected chains, which is bonded, staked. That will, we think that at least like 20% of that will become liquid, which is 2 billion. And if you think about that in volume, that's around like 400 million in volume per day that we think will become liquid in Cosmos throughout the next year. And maybe last, two super interesting projects in the ecosystem. One is Celestia, who's working on rollups. So if you're building a rollup and you don't need your own data availability layer or your own security, that's super interesting. And then the last, Penumbra, they're working on kind of privacy preserving technology. I think we all see and know how important privacy is, and I think that will be another focus area next year.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.